Welcome to the Pool Nation podcast, where it's all pool talk. And we ain't talking about netting and jetting or splashing and dashing. We're talking about becoming a nation of pool pros. We talk about the latest products, trends, and training in the pool industry. Now let's welcome your host, with over a decade of industry insider experience and still the reigning champion of Marco Polo, Edgar De Jesus, and his co-host, John J.J. Flawless, the fastest netter in the West, and Zach the Pool Boy Nicholas.
Welcome, everyone, to the Pool Nation Live podcast. I am your host, Edgar De Jesus, and yes, I am the reigning champion of Marco Polo, along with John J.J. Flawless, the fastest netter in the West, and the famous Zach, the Pool Boy Nicholas. Today, we're getting to your questions, and yes, we have a big, huge laundry list, so we're going to try to get through those and kind of get back to everybody. Want to welcome everyone to our live podcast, a podcast where it's all pool talk, and we ain't talking about netting and jetting or splashing and dashing. We're talking about becoming a nation of pool pros. And yes, we will talk about the latest products, trends, and training in the pool industry. But before we get started today, I want to thank our sponsors for this podcast: Ultimate Pool Tools, the SPPA, Blu-ray, Aquastar Pool Products, Natural Chemistry, Raypak, and Heritage Pool Supply. We want to thank them for their continued support. Mr. Zacharias, what's going on this morning? How you doing?
Dude, I am actually killing it right now, and I'm excited because, the building has been a long time coming, and there's progress being made, and it's actually really cool. For those of you that haven't heard, we're getting ready to move. They're doing some renovation to get ready for it, and now it's actually starting to come together. So I'm watching that come to life. Hopefully by the end of the month, we'll be in there. So I'm super stoked about that. And then we've just been going crazy. I mean, we've been getting so many calls. It's that time of the year. The weather's getting nice, and everyone wants everything done right now. So that's how it's going over here.
That's awesome. Mr. JJ Flawless, what's going on? That beard is looking pretty freaking sharp. Hey, my man.
Is it? Is it? It is getting there, right? It is.
Yeah. Zach, I'm thinking a little white, and we can dress him up as Santa Claus in Christmas time, baby.
Wow.
How you doing, brother?
I'm doing well. Well, not really. I mean, I am, but I'm not really. I don't know. A little bit. I don't have as. I'm not as cheerful or as optimistic, I think, as Zach is. But on my side, we before, and again, look, I know every time I'm complaining or every time I'm saying anything, it's always has to do with pools and cleaning pools, because I clean pools. That's what I do, right? So we just got done from a week before where we had 75-mile-an-hour winds, and it took us a week to clean up. And we had a beautiful Wednesday this week where we finally went back to clean pools, because we finished cleaning all our dumpster fires that we had. And yesterday at about 5 p.m., here comes another huge windstorm, and it has been blowing nonstop miles an hour for the last 20 hours. So I'm looking forward to hitting the route and pools. Yeah.
Awesome.
It's
awesome blossom.
Mind off of that, right? Yeah. And as a pool guy, look, and it's been like this for years. And I don't know, maybe we can come up with therapy or something for pool guys and pool girls, because when we get home after a long day's work, right? We're clean, servicing pools and taking care of, what we got to take care of. And then we come home and we want to relax with our family, eat a nice dinner, right? Chill out. That's kind of what it is. And then all of a sudden you start hearing the wind howling and stuff. And then you start to get this anxiety inside you.
You don't sleep.
You don't. And it's just oh my God. And I'm tossing and turning. Right, and windows shaking and shit, and I'm like, Jesus, leave me alone. I need to go to bed, right? You literally get anxiety, and I don't know. Is that what prematurely ages pool guys and pool girls, because when I looked at, if you look at my picture when I first started and where I'm at now, I've aged a lot. I didn't have a lick of gray hair, and I don't know. I don't know, but I'm thinking maybe that's something we could do, is find like a psychiatrist or something, or a therapist for pool guys and pool girls.
Bring them
that
on.
are,
Session.
talk about that anxiety we get, and maybe what we can do to overcome it and not allow it to eat it. Anyways.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I remember the days, John, back at my house, we had our windows that didn't close all the way. They were older windows.
Yeah.
And as soon as the Santa Ana winds, the window in our bedroom would start tack, 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 tack. And I'd be tossing and turning. And then I'd be up at like 5 o'clock, dressed, ready to go. And that first little glimpse that I knew, okay, it's going to take me 15 minutes to the first pool. It'll be light by the time I get there. I was already parked waiting outside their house, just waiting for that little light to come on, and just, and you don't sleep. It just, it messes with your psyche.
And you know what's not eating, because I love to eat my appetite at night, and that is devastating to me, right? So that right there literally rocks my world. I can 3-4 hours worth of sleep, no problem, but not enjoying my dinner. Now that takes it to a whole new level. I don't even know what I ate last night because it was so bad.
How'd you like the picture? How'd you like the picture of the food that I sent you yesterday?
That was we're definitely going there. That was and that was before it really got really bad, but it looked really good. But seriously, last night, dinner, we were kind of doing, and I just lost my appetite. I ate half of what I made, not even half of it, and I kind of put it aside, my appetite, and then I put my head down and I walked off to the garage.
Is that why you kept sending me to voicemail yesterday?
Is that what it probably was? It was, and I did it just
kind of kept going. He calls me back later. You called me, Edgar?
Yeah,
the 16 missed calls that you have on your phone are from me.
I didn't want to admit that I was in the corner in the fetal position crying like a baby, right? I had to compose myself. I didn't want you to I don't want you to have to experience me in that frame of mind. So I was trying to spare you of my grown man tears.
You got to be like Zach. He just doesn't call me till the next day.
Oh,
did you call me?
Yeah. He's like, did you call yesterday? My phone's acting up. And then he throws I think it's that whole Apple thing that you're talking about. I don't know. You might be right, Edgar. So, anyway.
But for real, I'm excited. This is one of my favorite, and I know you guys enjoy doing it as well, answering these questions, because we had a huge turnout, right? And we were talking about, answer. We would constantly get a few questions, here and there, maybe 5-10 questions a week. But now we're getting 63 that we need to catch up and answer, and we try to answer them as quick as possible. But we have a laundry list of questions that we need to get through. So I promise I'm going to do my best to keep every answer short and concise so that we can fly through as many of these as possible. But I want to throw out a disclaimer that I don't want to hear. I like to, when somebody asks me a question, and here I go taking up more time, we're not going to get to questions. And this is exactly what we said we weren't going to do, and here I am doing it. But look, when it comes when it comes down to it, right? It's the thing is, when somebody asks me a question and I'm able to offer some advice, right, or give my opinion, and I have the answer for them, I want to deliver the answer and not forget about one thing or that thing, or pick and choose what's important. So I want to kind of deliver the complete package. So there's something in me that just like keeps me, don't forget about this, don't forget about that, don't forget about this. But I have to figure out a way to, give just a short version of it and say, hey, look, for more, this isn't the complete answer. And that's what I did on the live, even though the answers were like 30 minutes long. I even said, hey, look, this is a short version of the answer. Because there's so much more to talk. This is so much more to talk about. But it's just like, it's like an onion, right? There's so many layers to it. You just gotta, there's no black or white some questions have black or white, but there's just so much more involved into it. And maybe it's me because I'm an overthinker. I don't know. Or I try to look at things in different perspectives, because my perspective isn't the only perspective. There's so many people that think differently, that grew up differently, that interact differently with people, that just don't get what I see. So I need to be able to look in different ways. And that's why what I do. And here I am again doing what I do. I'm sorry.
So question for you, because you just threw out
You sure you want to ask me a question right now?
so Zach, he just threw out a disclaimer saying, I'm going to keep it short. I'm going to answer your questions. We're going to get through them. And then he said, but here's how I am. I like to answer questions a lot, and I like to peel the onion and get to all the things that. So which one is it? Are you telling us that you're going to go quick, or you're just going to kind of go to the long answer?
I'm saying I am going to try to be quick, but no promises. Okay.
You sound like my kids. I tried, then I'm going to behave. But if I don't, then I told you I tried.
What's weird is around here, I'm known to talk a lot.
You do talk a lot, Zach.
Zach can. Yeah, you do. You can.
You can talk.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like I don't think between the three of us, I don't think there's a shortage of talking. I don't think that's something that we're up for discussion. Right? I don't think that's an issue at all. I think a lot of it is just when we're on the podcast, how do we channel it so that we don't spend an hour and 40 minutes on one question and then gonna go, oops, 62 to go.
Yeah.
So, I do have to tell you this. I woke up, I was having a rough morning, boys, but this part of the podcast is my therapy. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to just slay the day now. So, hey, before we get started, let's do a couple things in here. And Maria from Ensenada Pools. Maria, I almost sent you a message yesterday. I was in studio. I was doing content in Spanish yesterday. I finished a video and I'm like, I wonder if Maria would approve of this video. So I want you to know that I was thinking of you right as I finished. And I said, who can I send this to look at it and kind of tell me if it's good or bad? And that was you. So I'm going to have to clean that one up and I'm going to send it to you so that you can take a look at it. Jeanette, big huge shout out to you. Blue Oasis Pool Care, Zachary, what's going on, man? Mr. Lowbuck, big huge shout out to you out there. And then I want to talk about two quick things before we get started. One, everybody go out there and download the Poolman University. We created an app. You can find it on the Apple Store. You can find it on Google. You have 12 different courses on there that you can take. You can take quizzes on it. We were in studio yesterday. We have a interviewing class that's going to be coming up here next week onto the app. And I have started to create some content in Spanish for those that were asking for the content on Spanish. Excuse me. And we are going to start to do a deep dive in Spanish we'll start with business, metrics, finances, all that kind of fun stuff. And then Mr. Zacharias and John have some content that'll be coming out shortly. So big, huge shout out. The other thing that I want to talk about really quick is I want to give a shout out to our boy, Benny. Boy, I'm struggling here this morning. Mr. Corey Wax, good morning. How you doing? And A2Z Pools. Hey, what's going on, brother? Big shout out to you out there. So anyways, we are going to be doing a women's summit. Boy, my allergies are killing me today, boys. We're going to be doing the women's summit, and that's going to take place August 25th out in the Frisco, Texas area where we're at. And more details to come here, but we've kind of shored up a lot of the details this week. It's going to be held at the Heritage headquarters in McKinney, Texas, and we're going to be able to host up to 102 women. And just to let everybody know, Zach, John, I don't think I told you this yesterday. I shot an email to the women that came last year to the event. We already have 34 women signed up for the Women's Network, for the Women's Summit.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Right.
And here's the thing. I sent an invitation to them first because they attended last year. So we have all of their information. So it was kind of like before we opened for registration, let's send it out to them. And we have 34 already.
That's awesome. It's going to be a big event, yeah, it's going to be quite the event, and I'm looking forward to it. And I know Mama keeps talking about it. So she even brought it up to a couple pool girls out here in the valley to let them know about it, and because she's so excited. So we're definitely looking forward to it, and I think that we're going to have a huge turnout, and we'll have the room for it, right, over at Heritage.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I went down to Heritage to kind of finalize some stuff. They have a room that's absolutely amazing out there. And what we're going to do is, instead of just doing a networking event, we're going to do a summit for the women. And there's going to be workshops and learning skills. We're going to do public speaking. We're going to do a workshop on building each other up. We're going to do a big Q&A with some big top women in the industry, which I'm super excited about. We'll have a lot more of the details. I do want to give a shout out to Benny, and that's why I started this, because we want to do some video stuff. And I called up Benny and said, "Hey, Benny, we want to do some video stuff. Would you like to come out?" Literally a couple hours later, he sends me a text and he goes, "Hey, I booked my flight. We're all set." And I'm like, "That's so awesome." And he's like,
Benny's
"Okay, I'll text you." He goes, "I'll text you a little bit later. I'm in the middle of a concert." And then he starts posting pictures. So in the middle of the concert, he went and he booked his flight. How awesome is that?
That's awesome.
So you are the man. I do want to give a huge, absolute shout out to Heritage, because we went down there to look at the space, and everybody out there was just absolutely amazing. And guys, it was whatever you guys need. What do you need? Done. We'll take care of it. What do we need for this? Done. We'll take care of it. And I'm like, there's things that we were going to do, and we'll talk about those on a different podcast that we were going to do. And they just stepped in, John, Zach, and they were like, "Edgar, we got this. Like, you guys put the event together. We got you covered." They even right then and there, we were talking to Dave Cook. He kind of came by to say hi. And they came to us and said, "We'd like to host a networking event with cocktails and hors d'oeuvres the night before, and we'll take care of the whole thing. Just, is it okay if we do that?" We're like, "Absolutely." So the amount of detail that they're putting into this is absolutely amazing. So big, huge shout out to Heritage. Kim Levin has been a big, huge supporter of that. So big, huge thank you out there. So we'll have more details as we get closer. So anyways, Zach, you coming up for that one, right?
Absolutely. Leslie's
right.
coming too.
Nice.
That is awesome. That's kind of what I meant. I really kind of didn't mean you, because
You're watching the kids for us, right? I was going to bring them, and
yes,
okay,
I will.
Cool.
I will take care of the kids.
Perfect.
So here's the funny thing, and this is one of the things that we talked about, is that we are hosting the event, we're putting the event together, but Zach, John, and I will not be doing any of the workshops. Or this is a women's event.
Yeah, it's not about us.
It's going to be a purely women's event. The only thing that I'll do is do the intro and the good morning and get things started. And then other than that, Zach, John, and I are going to be in the back end, just kind of making sure that we manage everything with regards to the food, the audio.
Food. I'm going to be in charge of the food. I'm going to make sure the food's good.
We're just there to support the women in the industry, and I promise you this: there's going to be some badass women in that room that I'm excited to listen to, because they're a big, strong force in the industry. So, anyways, Michael, big shout out to you. First Response Pools. All right, gentlemen, I think we should get started. What do you guys think? Let's do it. Okay. Oh, wait. Well, one more thing. If there is any pool company out there, and I got a message from somebody today through the app, and I am going to kind of manage that today and give them a call. But if there's any company out there that is going to use the app to have their employees use the app, we are working on the module to be able to do that. Now, the front end interface to it is not built yet, but if there is a company or two that wants to sign up as a beta, and what we'll do is we'll kind of create the employees in the background, we'll do all that, we'll start to get it ready for you. You guys can test it, see how it goes. If you're interested, send me a message, go through the Poolman University app, send me a message, and then we will kind of work with 3 or 4 different companies and kind of get you guys started with that process, because we are absolutely there. Okay, so John, Zach, let's kind of get started with a couple of these. John, we talked about this one a little bit on the Instagram Live, but I want to make sure that if they listen to the podcast and not the Instagram Live, that we answer the question. So, question number one: what is a good boric acid tester, and are they available, and where are they available?
Strips, Hawk. They work. Is that quick and short?
Yeah.
No, look. So look, there's a few ways you can test for borates. The way we like to test for borates is using strips because we've used it all. Spin touch is one way to do it. There's strips is a way to do it. And there's multiple companies that produce those strips, and then there's also a reagent test for it. But I don't recommend that. I personally haven't used it, but I've done some research on it, and it's just very time consuming. You have to takes like up to like 10 minutes in order to get an accurate or to get the correct reading for borates, and who wants to spend 10 minutes testing for something when you can test for it and get pretty accurate with the simple dip in the water. So those are the strips that we use, and they give you a good range of where you're at. But one thing I want to talk about, if you do use strips, just like any other strips or any other reagent, just make sure that they're fresh. Make sure that you store them correctly, because if you just leave them in your truck or leave them out in your cart or put them in the door of your car and it's hot outside, they will definitely give you false readings over time. You'll think you'll have 100 parts per million of borates in every one of your pools, and you'll be thinking about what's going on. But the reality is that your strips have just gone bad. So just store them well. You don't need to test every week for borates. You got to remember, borates does not leave the water. Only way it leaves water or through a leak or dilution from like heavy rains. But we only test for borates like every couple months to see where we're at. Salt level in the pool. So if you're not losing salt, you're not losing borates. It's just the way it is. That short, quick, that work?
Yeah, absolutely. You know what? Here's what I thought, John. You're coming out Thursday?
Thursday, yeah.
What time are you coming out on Thursday?
I think I fly out at like 2:00 my time, and I get there at 5:00 Texas time.
Okay.
I'm doing Southwest this time.
Okay.
I'm going to Love Field.
Yeah, that'll be a quick, easy in and out.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that one of the things, because this has started to come up quite a bit again, is the whole borate conversation. And I wonder if it's just the time of the year, right? Everybody's going to start getting their pools ready for the summer. So I've gotten a lot more questions on it. I wonder if this weekend we should kind of shoot some content specifically on borates and kind of
Sure.
put that up right away, kind of do it, especially now as they're getting ready to do it. So I know that you have something that you're working on that we're going to shoot, but that might be a good, quick, content that we can put out based on the conversation that we're having. So anyways, okay. So don't make fun of me, people. It's like Edgar's brain is always work brain, right? So here we are on the middle podcast and I'm giving John work.
Do you have a media card? Do you have a storage card large enough to capture the borate video of me talking?
He does.
Well, I'll tell you this. Can you keep it under 29 minutes and 59 seconds?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I don't know.
You don't know? You don't know? So anyways, all right, perfect. The next one.
Next question. Edgar, let me ask you this one. Here, a question that came in.
Wow, that was loud, John.
Am I loud? Oh, see, I'm all excited.
Dude.
Am I hurting your little ears?
That one was excitement, right, Zach?
Yeah.
He was like a little kid, like, rah!
How long have
2.5 years. Next question. No, I'm just kidding.
Is that how quick?
Yeah, we got some quick ones that we'll be able to get through. We started what was it, 2020? Like mid 2020, right?
Hurricane
It was kind
Laura.
of when was Hurricane Laura?
2020.
Yeah.
2000, but what month?
Want to say August or September. I could be wrong.
I know our first podcast was in September of 2020.
So then it had to be before that because I was getting ready for it when you called me.
Yeah, we were I was doing the Instagram lives then, and that was September 2020. So wow, we're going on almost 3 years, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're about 2.5 years. That's crazy.
That's
All
why
right.
we're all gray now.
Yeah.
That's why John's gray. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Whoa.
Next question. How can I get chlorine delivery for less to cut costs and get more overhead, possibly to have a tank filled? Zach wasn't on there, but Zach, I know that out in Texas, you can have delivery done. You kind of have to have certain tanks and stuff like that. Do you know any details on that?
I don't know anything about liquid delivery. It's not really big in our area, but my only advice to this would just be to talk to whoever you're ordering from and see what, let them know. Just be completely upfront. Like, I need to cut delivery costs. How can we do this? And they'll probably tell you there's some sort of minimum that if you meet it, your delivery is less or free or whatever. Now, for everything else we get delivered, it works just like that. As long as we hit a minimum with what we're ordering, then our delivery is free. But as far as liquid goes, I don't really have an answer for that because that's not something we deal with.
Gotcha. Yeah. John,
So-
I think for you guys it's a little bit different, but I'll let you
Well,
jump in.
No, just keep it quick, and not only just find out how to get delivery for less, but find out how to get the product for less as well, right? I mean, as a business owner, you need to sit down, you need to crunch numbers, and you need to realize that the people you're dealing with distribution themselves are also a business, and you have leverage and power when you're buying in quantity. And if you are going to be purchasing items, or if you are going to be purchasing liquid chlorine, if you do buy it in bulk, you should receive a better price. That's kind of how it works, especially if you're not getting it in returnables. If you're going to have a tank filled, those cost as much for them to produce it. It shouldn't cost as much for you to purchase it, and you should have some leverage when it comes down to that. And here in California, I know there's multiple companies that offer chlorine in bulk, but before you can buy it in bulk, you need to make sure you have the correct container. You got to make sure that you're complying to all local, state, and county laws and regulations and all that good stuff. But I know of businesses that do have tankers or do have big containers, and they get their chlorine delivered for dirt cheap compared to what we're purchasing it for when it comes down to by the gallon. And that's simply because it costs more money. You have to have the returnable, you have to have the case, you have to have the people and the labor that goes into cleaning it and putting it away and doing all that good stuff. So it's just natural. So I would definitely get in touch with your district and see if they offer it in bulk. And if they don't, talk to another one, because there will be somebody who does.
Nice.
You're muted. Oh, look at him, isn't he? Look, he's muted.
I'm
going
so
out
excited. I am so excited about this. So here I am having a conversation with regards to having people do the beta. So Trevor, I got your message. I will call you today as I drive up to Oklahoma to go see my daughter at OU. And then the other one is Jordan. I got your message. So just in that little time that we mentioned that, I got 2 messages through the app of 2 companies that want to use the app, and they'll beta test it for us to get their employees on there. So big,
Awesome.
huge shout out to both of you. I appreciate that. I sent the message over here as well. So yeah, the big thing that we're talking about, liquid chlorine, and we talked about it on the Instagram Live, and that is that if you guys are part of the Heritage Loyalty Reward Program, you can get a rebate. So liquid, if you buy liquid and the liquid is from HASA, there is it's a Pultec product, so you get double the rewards back. And then the other thing is, if you use the app for HASA, they do a rebate as well. So I just shot a message to see if I can kind of get the specific cost of what you get back in rebates from the HASA app, so that we could talk about it. I shot a message to Terry. I know that he was traveling. I talked to him yesterday, so I might not get the answer, but we'll talk about that. But that's a huge thing. Make sure that you are doubling up on all those rewards. And John, you talk about it, and we go. You go, if you use a credit card and you get a reward back there, and then you use the Heritage program and you get a reward back there, and then you use the HASA app and you get a reward there. I mean, we're talking about triple dipping into this bad boy.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. And that's just smart business sense, right? And I mean, look, there's, you can, if you approach things correctly, right, there's always money to be made and money to be saved. So there's tips and tricks and things you can do. And like you're talking about with the Heritage program, that it's a no-brainer. I think with the HASA thing, I think it's like every 4 or 5 cases that you buy, you get like a certain dollar amount back. Is what you get. And then you're right about the credit card thing. And we talked ago on one of the first podcasts, we're talking about business credit, right? That's what we use. And I'm no fool. And I've talked to a lot of my buddies, and I've gotten them on that train as well, where, when I make purchases, I purchase it with my card and my business card, and I get 2% to 3% to 4% to sometimes 6% back. And I have different credit cards that I use for different categories. And when I make my purchases, I get that money back. It's tax-free money that comes back to me. And then at the end of the month, you pay it right off, right? Pay it as if it was cash. And that's the key, right? Don't get into debt, but that's for a whole different conversation. But that's another way you can lower your costs as well, even if maybe there isn't a way of, you can't get a better price at distribution to make more money off. If you can squeeze another 1%, 2%, 3% over time, that makes a big dent.
Absolutely. Hey guys, let's do this. Let's kind of try to stay on track today. It's been 30 minutes. Let's take
you really
sponsors.
Did you just say let's stay on track like as if it's my fault?
We're a minute and 39 seconds. So we were on track.
I am on my best behavior right now. And no, dude, I don't think I'm going to be able to make this work, man. I'm trying my hardest.
You're only off by a minute and 53 seconds now by that.
Okay.
If you wouldn't have made that comment, you would have been like right on time. But now you kind of said we would have been okay. So,
right.
But I do have to say, Zach, you need to tone it down a little bit today because you're just kind of a little crazy over in that corner. Okay. So anyways, let's take a word from our sponsors. When we come back, we'll continue our conversation.
The Hyper Pole from Ultimate Pool Tools is a pool care pole designed by pool professionals for pool professionals, featuring precision-crafted carbon fiber and stainless steel construction. Go to ultimatepooltools.com or Instagram at Ultimate Pool Tools. Pool pros have specific needs when it comes to general liability insurance. The SPPA program has you covered. With 3 tailored and customizable general liability options, SPPA makes it easy for pool pros to feel secure. Find out more and get covered at thesppa.com. Now available, Pool Invoice. Pool Invoice is a pool billing software created specifically for the pool service and repair industry. It's developed for our industry and only our industry. Pool Invoice is built with recurring billing in mind. You can print, email, text invoices, or even send via WhatsApp. You can add reoccurring or yearly charges, accept credits, and set up autopay. You can even see when customers have seen the invoice. It even has a customer portal where they can log in and see, print, and pay invoices. It has all your customers' information on one page, so you don't need to search through hundreds of invoices looking for the one you need. Just go to the customer profile and it's all at your fingertips. Created specifically for the pool industry, Pool Invoice. Now available at poolinvoice.com. Blu-ray XL is the power of minerals working for you. Reduce your overall chemical costs and labor up to 50% guaranteed. Whether you have 20 accounts or 20,000, Blu-ray XL's direct pricing and free shipping to the pool trade have you covered. Improving pool professionals' profit and work-life balance is what they do. Blu-ray XL, the real mineral purifier. Visit them at BluRayXL.com.
Blu-ray all day.
Aquastar's new pipeline cartridge filters, available in 2 sizes, deliver top-notch hydraulic efficiency along with best-in-class filtration performance, approaching that of DE filters. Uniquely designed, open pleat spacing means 100% of the media square footage is usable, and these claims are backed by NSF test results. Designed with the pro's time and comfort in mind, the patented double locking system improves safety and ease of access, making filter cleaners faster than ever before. Available now. Ask your supplier for pipeline filters today.
Natural Chemistry, a leader in specialty water care solutions for over 30 years, is proud to provide products that make pool service easier than ever before. Its unique enzyme formulations in Pro Series Pro Blend improve efficiency of your pool program while reducing frequency of filter cleaning and scum lines. Natural Chemistry is also well known for its wide variety of phosphate removal solutions that include a non-clouding formula in Phos-Free and extremely high range removal with Pro Series Phos Remove or Phos Free Max. Save time, save money, save work with Pro Series products. Stop sacrificing durability or efficiency with the help of Raypak's new Avia HD models that utilize NITEC, their exclusive industry-first technology. NITEC heat exchanger technology is Raypak's latest solution to superior strength and maximum efficiency when it comes to residential pool heating. With 900% more nickel compared to copper nickel in critical surfaces, NITEC creates an ideal surface to protect against scale formation and erosion without compromising on Avia's 84% thermal efficiency. Learn more at raypak.com/NITEC.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Pool Nation Live podcast. We continue our conversation, and our boy JJ is missing in action. Zach, did you call him and yell at him while we were offline?
I think he's crying about the wins.
He's crying.
He's in the fetal position in the corner of the garage right now.
Oh man, do I have a wind sound in here? No, I don't. Oh no. I'm gonna have to find a wind sound. Man, I can't believe I dropped the ball there. Anyways, we continue our conversation, and John's missing in action. He's probably having his his crying session over there. He probably opened the garage door and the wind's just kind of blowing back and forth, and he's just not wanting to
blew him away.
Yeah. So anyways, so Zach, let's you and I continue the podcast, right?
Yeah, we got this.
We got this. So, all right, here's the next one. Just wondering how you guys price your weekly service. Also, what is too much? Is there a point where you're just being greedy? Is it just whatever you can sell? Do you think single polars should charge premium price? That's a loaded question.
Yeah, that's a lot to unpack there.
To unpack, right? I think this is probably going to take us the next 30 minutes of the podcast. But let me start by this, Zach, and let me start going question by question on this. And so just wondering how you guys price your weekly service. So let me start with that one right there.
Yep. So, I mean, I think the number one thing that people get caught up, and the number one mistake is looking at your competition and what they're doing and feeling like, oh, I need to be, doing what they're doing. But the reality is that you need to be doing what's right for your business. And we talk about things like vision, goals, what you're trying to achieve. So if you're trying to achieve higher paid employees and you want, a nice facility and you want everything in-house, like there's going to be a different rate that you need to price into your service versus someone that maybe they're perfectly happy working out of their garage, their overhead's minimal. So it's going to differ from company to company based on what your current overhead is and what your long-term vision is. So there isn't a one size fits all answer to this, but for us, and we talk about it all the time, like here on Pool Nation, knowing your numbers, how we price our stuff is we go through the exercise of actually looking at our numbers, looking at our costs, and trying to figure out where we need to be in order to continue on our growth path and what we're trying to achieve. And I'm going to jump to the next part of that, which is also what is too much. Is there a point where you're just being greedy? And I think that's a question we all, start to wonder as we get to certain price levels. And it just, again, really depends on what you need. I mean, if your service costs you $1 and you're charging $1,000, then yeah, you're probably being greedy. But I think if you're really truly looking at your numbers, what you're trying to do, and you're pricing accordingly, I don't think you're being greedy. I think you're doing what you need to do to maintain what your path is.
Yeah, and the way I explained it yesterday, Zach, was, one of the biggest misconceptions is a lot of pool pros get into the business and they worry about what John's charging, what Zach's charging, what Edgar's charging, what they kind of look around at what other people are charging, and then they go out and they just kind of pick a number, right? They put them on the wall, they throw a dart, and they think, yeah, that's where I need to be, right? Jesse Garcia, hello from Florida. Big shout out to you out there, brother. So that's the biggest mistake. And when you have a company, and it doesn't matter what business it is, right? We just happen to be in the pool business, but you have to know the cost of your service or your product before you sell it. So the best way for me to explain it is, in order for you to figure out what your costs and what you need to charge, is you need to know what your expenses are. So let's just put this plain scenario really easy. Let's just pretend that you have one expense and that's it, right? Like there's no other expenses in your business. And we'll do easy math. So if you have 5 pools and you charge $100, right? That's $500 a month. So you're going to make $500 a month. But this is where it's different for everybody else. Let's say that I have a pool business and I have a truck payment, and my truck payment is $500. John has a pool company and John has 0 truck payment, right? His truck is already paid off. So John charges $100. John is going to make money because John doesn't have an expense. I do business. I do those 5 pools. I charge $100. I'm not making any money, right? So I can't charge $100 if I want to stay in business. If I want to stay in business, I have to charge more than $100 in order to be able to survive. And so that's what you need to do as a pool pro. You need to figure out what all your expenses are so that you know what that costs, so that then you can go out and say what number it is that you need to quote in order to be able to make money. Because if I go in like a lot of pool pros do and I go, well, John's charging $100, John's a premier service, I'm going to go in and I'm going to charge $85 and I'm going to steal all of John's customers. And by the way, that doesn't work. But now I put myself in a position where I'm not breaking even. John's making money. Now I'm losing money because I'm charging $85 for pool service, when to break even, I have to be charging even $100, right? Go ahead, John. I know you want to jump in.
Well, I want to take it another step further. And I think you bring a great point about, car payments and how much debt somebody has, or the cost of doing business. Problem that people have, even though, let's say, you don't have that truck payment, you should bill as if you did have that truck payment, right? Why should you be punished because you're running a tight ship, or because you're running debt free, or because you don't have that overhead or those expenses? It goes to the same point when I talk about this constantly. It's the biggest downfall we have as an industry is that when we first start out and when we're working and we're a one polar and it's just us doing the job, we do not take into account the cost of us servicing the pool. We need to, when we price out pools or price out jobs, we have to price it out as if we are paying somebody else who the proper wage in order to do that job or to complete that job. Just because it's just you who's doing the work and you're going to put a pump in, you need to look at it with a lens and saying, employed, because the majority or the other bigger companies out in the valley or in my area or in the country, when they price their jobs, they do it because they have higher overheads and they need to be able to make enough money to support that overhead. You have to, as if you were one of those companies. There is nothing wrong with that. And if you don't have that truck payment, doesn't mean you should give people a discount because I don't have that many expenses. So I'm only going to charge X amount because I'm still making 30, 40, 50, 60, whatever margins you're thinking you're making. You need to look at it with a different type of lens, right? And that is where we start to elevate ourselves. And I want to add one more thing to this. And I think sorry, I was a little late. I was talking to a customer. But where we should price our services, right? And where's too much, that was a question, right? Wondering how you guys price your weekly services. So
the first question was, how do you price that weekly service, and then what is too much?
Yeah. So look, you need to. This is the easiest way I look at it, and I think anybody should apply this sense to it. You have to remember, treat yourself like almost like an island, right? Look, it doesn't. Who cares what anybody else charges? Who cares what anybody else does? What's the most important thing is that when you right, you do a couple things. You list expectations and what people are going to get for your services, and you deliver on them, right? The amount that you charge, right, needs to be enough so that when you walk back into that backyard, that you feel good about doing that work. Okay. You don't get that. What the problem is when you price yourself out, or when it's a race to the bottom, you go out there, eventually you're going to start to resent yourself. You're going to hate the job that you do, because you're not making enough money working as hard as you're working. So eventually something has to give, right? Your sanity is going to give. Your love for the business is going to give up. You're right. You're going to stress yourself out. You're going to start cutting corners. You're going to start doing this and this. You should be able to make enough money to where you can pay your bills and be able to take care of whatever you need personally for the lifestyle that you want. Okay, that is what you need to charge, and that is all you need to worry about. And I promise you, if you put those, if you start figuring out those numbers and doing it, and go, hey, I've had people talk to me before, and we talk about bottom 10, top 10, and different types of pools, and some pools that are just a nightmare. But the reality is this: a pool isn't a nightmare. Only reason why a pool is really a nightmare is because you don't feel compensated enough going back there taking care of it. If I can walk back to a pool that's trashed and that will take me an hour and a half every single week, if I budget for it accordingly and I'm being compensated enough, imagine if you made $500 for that visit, spending working on that pool, and the customer understands it, willing to pay for it because they acknowledge the work that's going to take for it, and you knew that you were walking back there and you were making $500 that visit, and you were going to have to give them an hour and a half of your time, I'm sure you'd have a different perspective on that pool, as if you were only $50 for that visit, or $30 for that visit, or $40, whatever it may be. It changes it, right? We're in business to make money, and that's what we're doing. We're a for-profit center. We are not a charity. So when we are making enough money, right, then we feel great about what we're doing. And to finish off and to cap that off, and what Zach was saying as well, don't be greedy and don't be stupid, right? Don't go out there and be silly and charge $15,000 for an IntelliFlow, to install an IntelliFlow, right? Because you feel that's what you deserve. Well, by all means, if you feel that you should deserve it, well, you're probably not going to be in business much longer. It has to be within a realm, right? You have to be realistic. So hopefully that answers that question.
That's perfect. And I think it carries, you could, if you need to go and service the pool, because that's just what kind of pool it is. As long as it's worth it to you, then it's worth it to you. So I want to add too that there is just a certain level of confidence that comes once you truly understand what it's costing you to deliver on a service. It just becomes so much easier to make decisions. It becomes so much easier to stand your ground. At least for me, in the beginning, I'd get people, oh, well, I'm going to throw in my 5 neighbors. I'll get them to sign up with you if you give me a deal. And I'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll give you a deal. But anymore, it's just like, no, this is where we're at. This is what we have to charge. So, take it or leave it.
Yeah. And there's, I'm 2 things. One, obviously you talk about greed, and I've known, cool guys that go out there and are just absolutely, greedy and kind of go crazy charging, right? But that's up to you. What you decide to charge and what you want to get is up to you. I'll tell you this: when I started in the pool industry, there was one guy that would just completely go nuts, and that to me was excessive. And so I promised myself that I wasn't going to do that. Right? I wasn't going to take that to that extreme. But for everybody, it's different. So you have to figure out, what you're worth, what your expenses are, right? Because that can also dictate what it is that you have to charge for those repairs. And then number two, Jeanette over here is having a great point, and that is that you might be charging the $500, right? John might have the 5 pools. He doesn't have a truck payment today, but it might happen in the future where he does need to get a new truck, right? So are you charging properly to account for any things that are coming down the road? And we talk about it all the time is if you have that vision of 5 years down the road, you want to be a company with employees, you have to be charging those rates today as if you have that employee. Even though you're a single poler, you cannot charge that lower rate because you're like, oh, I'm a single poler. You need to start charging the higher rates like if you have an employee, so that when you get there, you're not in a tough spot where you're now having to try to figure out how to pay that employee. The other question here is, do you think single polers should charge a premium price? What do you guys' thought on that?
I think John answered that honestly, is in his, even if you're out there with low overhead I think all of that ties together, right? If you're out there with low overhead, you need to look at if you're going to have employees, if you're going to have a truck payment that you need to add, then you need to be charging accordingly for that.
And look, and I think if anything, single polers or that type of service is more naturally the more premier service, right? So I think they should be charging more than anybody, to be completely honest, because as the biggest struggle any business owner has is finding and retaining quality employees, right? And it doesn't matter what type of, you can have a great employee, but at the end of the day, they do not have the same buy-in. They don't have as much the skin in the game like you do, right? And nobody is going to make decisions that are like perfectly based or fully are all about what's best for the business, right? And us as business owners, that's what we do. Everything, the business is our baby, and nobody is going to take care of you better than the business owner in most cases, right? We all know. But the reality is that, if you're a one poler and you're out there servicing the pool, you truly give a shit about what's happening and what's doing and what's going on, and you're going to make sure that you spend that extra time, that you build that relationship with that customer, that they get that extra added value that the one thing a larger company just can't provide, right? That owner client relationship that we all had when we first started the pool business. So I think if you gear yourself up as that type of business, as one of the best in your area, right? Because we talk about this, you got good, better, best. If you want to be one of the better or the best, you should capitalize on that. And there are clients out there that appreciate that and are looking for that. For us, when we brought on employees, and it was a hard transition with the clients that had relationships with us, right? And had relationships with mama. And oh, you're not taking care of my pool anymore, or oh, okay, who's this guy, or whatever. And even though we train them the best that we possibly can, even though they're amazing at what they do and they work really hard, it's not the same, right? Because you've spent years building this relationship with them, and it's hard to transition. So I think you should capitalize on that ability to have that type of relationship with your clients, and you should charge a premium for it.
The other thing, John, is as business owners, we get into the industry and we're always looking at the big dogs in the industry, right? For some reason, we always compare ourselves to the big companies right off the bat. So we don't go through our journey of growth, but right away we look at it and we say, how can we be the 500-pound gorilla, right? And the 500-pound gorilla is always going to be better than me, right? And that's one of the biggest misconceptions that a lot of the one polers have, because just like you were saying, if you look at it from a strategic branding standpoint and you look for, what are your points that you're strong at that those big companies are not at, it's exactly what you're saying. That company that has 900 pools, they're not going to be able to give a lot more of that personalized pool service because their business needs are going to be completely different. And that's okay because their business is different than yours. And that's what I'm trying to get at, is that you cannot compare yourself to a big, huge company because you're not a big, huge company. What you should start to do is focus on the competition that you have around yourself, right? And then what strengths do you have over those big companies? And just like you said, you can give that personalized service that that big company can't do. When that big company comes into that backyard and they've got 14, 16 pools that those pool pros need to do, and there's 900 pools that need to get done, it's more of a, here's the checklist, here's the 10 points you need to do, get out of that pool. Don't talk to the customer. We've got the volume, we got to get them in, we got to get them out.
Don't
You're the smaller
spend time with the dog, giving it treats and throwing the ball and bringing the trash cans up. I mean, and that's all awesome stuff that I hear. And I'm like, that's so cool, but it doesn't work for the 500-pound gorilla.
Yep. And so that's where your strengths are. So look at where you can differentiate yourself from, and you'll be able to kind of set yourself apart. And yes, you should charge a premium for that because you are giving them a service that the big companies can't give, right? So, definitely focus on that. Zach, John, let's do this. Let's take our final word from our sponsors. When we come back, I want to get your final thoughts.
The Hyper Pole from Ultimate Pool Tools is a pool care pole designed by pool professionals for pool professionals, featuring precision crafted carbon fiber and stainless steel construction. Go to ultimatepooltools.com or Instagram at Ultimate Pool Tools. Pool pros have specific needs when it comes to general liability insurance. The SPPA program has you covered. With 3 tailored and customizable general liability options, SPPA makes it easy for pool pros to feel secure. Find out more and get covered at thesppa.com. Now available, Pool Invoice. Pool Invoice is a pool billing software created specifically for the pool service and repair industry. It's developed for our industry and only our industry. Pool Invoice is built with recurring billing in mind. You can print, email, text invoices, or even send via WhatsApp. You can add recurring or yearly charges, accept credits, and set up autopay. You can even see when customers have seen the invoice. It even has a customer portal where they can log in and see, print, and pay invoices. It has all your customers' information on one page, so you don't need to search through hundreds of invoices looking for the one you need. Just go to the customer profile and it's all at your fingertips. Created specifically for the pool industry, Pool Invoice. Now available at poolinvoice.com. Blu-ray XL is the power of minerals working for you. Reduce your overall chemical costs and labor up to 50% guaranteed. Whether you have 20 accounts or 20,000, Blu-ray XL's direct pricing and free shipping to the pool trade have you covered. Improving pool professionals' profit and work-life balance is what they do. Blu-ray XL, the real mineral purifier. Visit them at BluRayXL.com.
Blu-ray all day.
Aquastar's new pipeline cartridge filters, available in 2 sizes, deliver top-notch hydraulic efficiency along with best-in-class filtration performance, approaching that of DE filters. Uniquely designed, open pleat spacing means 100% of the media square footage is usable. And these claims are backed by NSF test results. Designed with the pro's time and comfort in mind, the patented double locking system improves safety and ease of access, making filter cleaners faster than ever before. Available now. Ask your supplier for pipeline filters today.
Natural Chemistry, a leader in specialty water care solutions for over 30 years, is proud to provide products that make pool service easier than ever before. Its unique enzyme formulations in Pro Series Pro Blend improve efficiency of your pool program while reducing frequency of filter cleaning and scum lines. Natural Chemistry is also well known for its wide variety of phosphate removal solutions that include a non-clouding formula in Phos-Free and extremely high range removal with Pro Series Series Phos Remove or Phos Free Max. Save time, save money, save work with Pro Series products. Stop sacrificing durability or efficiency with the help of Raypak's new Avia HD models that utilize NITEC, their exclusive industry-first technology. NITEC heat exchanger technology is Raypak's latest solution to superior strength and maximum efficiency when it comes to residential pool heating. With 900% more nickel compared to copper nickel in critical surfaces, NITEC creates an ideal surface to protect against scale formation and erosion without compromising on Avia's 84% thermal efficiency. Learn more at raypak.com/NITEC.
Welcome back, everybody. What's that sound I hear? What is that?
You trying to give me anxiety?
This one goes on for 33 minutes, John.
All right.
It just sits there and it's just.
You want me to start crying? I'm close to tears right now.
This is how it's like a breakthrough therapy session.
Right?
John,
Wow.
take into your inner spirits and put your hands like this and think, winds, oh winds of the past. Sorry. I channeled my inner spider with the last podcast where he got
The dong,
the dong
or
and
no,
he
the
went
gong,
out
not the
The
dong,
gong.
the gong.
and he got out there
Yeah,
quick and he
my bad.
played it perfectly. So
Yeah.
anyways, we just wanted to mess with you a little bit out there. All right, so let's do some final thoughts here. And John, I'm not going to go with you first. It's going to be Zach. Zach, final thoughts.
So I'm impressed because we made it through 4 questions today, not 3. So we're improving and we'll continue to work on that. But this is the stuff we talk about it all the time. The questions, I love it. These are very natural to go through, and keep sending them in and download the app. And yeah, it's going to be a busy summer, I feel like. So I'm ready to get out there and get going.
Yeah, I think one of the things that we might need to do, guys, and tell me what you think about this, and that is we have so many questions that we obviously are only able to do a podcast once a week, and then we have the Instagram, but then obviously we have people that come on and we have, all that. So I'm wondering if in the section of the Poolman University, we're going to have to add a little section where we could do the little videos to answer their
Are
questions.
you kidding me? Dude, right now, are you
Good
kidding
idea,
me that
Edgar.
you said that?
That's a good idea.
Look at the message I sent you, and I said I have an idea about content, what we're going to do, and
Where did you send it?
I sent it on WhatsApp. I sent it like an hour ago, right before we started.
He saw it.
Let me see.
And look, and so what it's going to be is, I think it's going to be Ask Us, and we're going to have all these questions, and we're just going to answer through videos. Either one of us are going to go up there. We're just going to answer them, and we're going to throw them up on the Poolman University app and just have it that way. So
Yeah,
I'm not.
We'll
no.
probably have to add a section to that to
Yeah.
kind of get through some
That's
of
a
these
great
questions.
idea.
'Cause
Yeah.
the problem is it's a lot, and then what I don't want is people to kind of be upset. Hey, I asked a question, 4 months ago, and I still haven't gotten an answer. So
Well, yeah, we can't get up, so we're backlogged for 120 days.
we're backlogged at the point of 3 per. John, do the math.
Yeah.
So
Oh God.
if we were able to do 52 podcasts and answer 3 questions, right?
Okay.
Per podcast, how many podcasts in would it take to get through all the questions?
159.
Jeez. So we'll we got to come up with something. So
Yeah.
anyways, big huge shout out to everybody out there. So John, any final thoughts other than me stealing your thunder?
No, that was perfect.
No, that was perfect.
That's exactly what I was going to say. So I think, to me, I'm actually happy, and not stealing my thunder. I'm just saying that we're on the same wavelength here. So
Yeah.
which is cool. I think that's what
actually-
we should definitely do. I had a great time
It was-
today. I love answering these questions.
It was Zach that gave me the idea, and then I stole it. But he probably stole it from you and then put it in my ear so that I would sit here and talk to it. And then he would blame me, going, "He saw the message. Look at the WhatsApp."
It-
So,
It's my-
it's-
my
I'm just
great
glad
son.
we. I'm just glad. Let's-
Anyways, Maria, I will send you the video that she's out over here. Jeanette was saying, I will always love on the pups out there. Absolutely. And so, John, Zach, I hope that you guys have a great weekend. I am headed up to OU to go visit my daughter, spend the weekend up there. Looking forward to that. Haven't had a little bit of a break since we were getting ready for the Western. So, looking forward to going up and seeing Brianna up there.
Safe travels. Have fun, my friend.
And then we're on for next week. So, both of you coming up next week?
Yep.
Absolutely. That's awesome. So we have Ted Lawrence that's going to be coming out to visit us. We'll be in studio on Thursday, podcast studio on Friday. Everybody catch me and John on next Wednesday on our Instagram Live. We'll continue to answer these questions. Have a great weekend, guys.
See ya.
Thanks for listening to the Pool Nation podcast, a member of the Pool Nation family. You can listen to us live every Friday here at 9 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Central, and 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. You can find us at Pool Nation or PoolNationPodcast.com, on Facebook, or on Instagram at Pool.Nation. And to find more info about Pool Invoice, the billing software built specifically for the pool industry, go to PoolInvoice.com. Before you go, this is what the pool industry has been waiting for. PoolmanUniversity.com. It's the first platform dedicated to learning the swimming pool service and repair industry. A pool service community where you can connect and find videos on business, service, water chemistry, and repairs. See you there at PoolmanUniversity.com.